Alright class, so I'm actually ready to start my menu design. So like I said, this is going to be my cover, this is going to be the inside contents, so where the menu items will be. Alright, so what I want to do for my second page is I want to put 4 columns for dividing up my page in a specific way. That way, when I have my graphic line that's going to go down this way and divide up my page, I have a visual hint that tells me how far along do I want my text to be, how long my sentences should be. So I want some kind of containment for my layout. So what I'm going to do is go into, and whenever you need to search for something, you can go into help. And I want to type in columns. So we're going to do margins and columns, so go into layout and you'll see margins and columns pop out. So you have your margins automatically set at 1/2 inch on each side of the page. You can change that. Sometimes the bottom tends to have a little bit more space. What I like to do is add a full inch. So that gives a little bit more breathing room down here. Or I could also say I want more than 1/2 inch on each of those sides, so we can just change those. And you want to link this if you want to make sure all settings are the same. Now I can't do that because I actually want my bottom to have more space. And in here, number of columns, I'm going to type 4 and hit OK. Alright, so that's that. So I actually want to make sure that this is my second page, because this is going to be my cover, this is going to be where I put all my information, right? So in order for me to change the setups of the page, what I do was I just go into the pages right here and I just go in front of the page, and that automatically gives me a different layout sequence for my pages. So that's what I did. Now I want to divide up the page. I'm going to use a graphic treatment, so I'm going to take the line tool right here and I want to just draw a line from start to finish. I want to make sure that first of all I have the stroke selected. If you go in here, this is where you can do a solid stroke, so just a simple line border, but I want to go a little bit more decorative, so I'd like to do something with maybe the white diamond, and then let's see if I can enlarge this slightly, and then I start to see a little bit more detail happening. Okay, so I'll put this up here, and then, and to zoom in and zoom out, I'm going Command plus to zoom in, Command minus sign to zoom out, right next to the return button, right? So that's how I'm able to zoom in and zoom out. Then I want to copy this line and put it down here. So what I'm going to do is select it, hold down Option and drag down while also clicking on Shift. So I'm making a copy with the Option tool, Option key, and I'm pressing down Shift to make sure that I stay in alignment. Now, I want to do another line in here in the middle, so again, I will go from top to bottom like so, and I want to make sure that my stroke is selected. So up and down like this, and then use number 4, number 5, or number 6. Okay. You can also take this line and copy it and flip it over. That's also another option. So I'm going to copy this and now divide up my page into quadrants, and then just make this a tiny bit smaller. So now I have, again, copy by select, hold down the Option key, drag over, and let go. So now I have my menu divided up into the different types of courses I would like to see on the page. Okay? So once that's taken care of, let's say I would like to see this layout without any of those guides. I'm going to go Command semicolon. That removes the guides. So I'll just zoom out and take a look and see how things are looking. It's looking a little too thick. This is 7 points. This is 7 points as well. I want to make sure everything is even. Sometimes things look a little bit thicker than they are, so I just want to make sure that it looks like we have 2 on top of each other. That's why. Okay. That's why we zoom out, to take a look at our work and make sure things look a certain way and we're kind of even. I'm going to go back to my guides. I'm going to go Command semicolon again. So now I'm ready to start laying out my type. So now I can say, appetizers, salads, entrees, desserts. Or you can do starters, you can do appetizers, you can do desserts, and maybe a drink section over here. So those are just some ideas. Okay, I'll get into that next. Now what I want to do is I would like for my cover to have some kind of treatment. So what I'm going to do is go into margins, and let's see. I think I would like to have, let's see how this looks, an inch for each of the different sides. We'll do 4. Okay. Let me see if that's gonna happen the second time around. So we'll do 1 inch and then link that all together. And as you can see, you can preview what you're able to look at. So just hit preview, just check this button over here and you're able to see what it is that your margins look like, and then the number of columns we said was going to be 4. Alright, so now we're pretty even. Alright, so I would like to have some kind of title treatment for my menu. I'm going to call this, again, what I did was select the type tool, create a box, and now it doesn't matter what typeface I'm going to use because I'm going to change it. I'm just going to start typing in a title. It's going to say The Simple Feast. Okay. I'm going to select this and I would like to enlarge the type. So what I'm going to do here is go into this area that says font size, or you can go in here into your character palette and take a look at how you can increase the size. You can go with the arrows as well, like that. A shortcut would be Shift Command and the period. That's always faster, like that. Okay. Now I'd like to change the font. I'm going to go with something very simple. I'm going to do Avenir. Okay. And then I would like my text to be all caps. Now I can type it with the caps lock held down, but I don't want to do that because I want to have the option to go back to regular text and go to all caps. So what I'll do here is I'll go into this options menu right here where the character palette is, right where this icon is with the 4 lines. I'm going to go all caps. Okay. So now I need to make this a little bit smaller because it is taking up too much space. So I'll go down in size, right? I like to give it a bit of spacing in between, so add more kerning to the letter forms. So I would like to see a bit more space in between my characters, like so. And again, I'm evaluating accordingly, and I will size down the title. And then I want to add more space in between the lines, so that's called the leading. This is the leading right here, and I want to increase that, so go with something like this. Okay. And again, I'm going to preview this by looking at clicking Command and semicolon. So this is what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to go back to my guides. I like to do just maybe a simple line treatment right here. I'm not doing anything fancy with this. I'm keeping this very simple and straightforward and kind of minimal because this is the first lesson in InDesign, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone with the different graphics that we can use, because this definitely can go a lot more complex and add more graphics. But I'd like to just use type for now, just so that we can get a hold of the program first, and then perhaps get into something a little bit more complex where we use illustrations and photographs. Okay, so I would like to do a solid line right here and keep that as it is, and maybe just do something short and simple like that. And I think for me that works. Now, I would like to create a background. So what I'd like to do is take the rectangle tool, a solid color background. I'm going to size this to my document like so, and I'm going to click the fill tool right here and change this to another color. So let's say I wanted to do something like a light gray. I can go into black and double click, or what you can do is you can go into tint and you can go down in transparency like so. Okay. Now notice that my type is in the background now, so I need to bring it back to forward. So I need to go Control, hit down Control, and then I want to go into Arrange and Send to Back. So I want my solid color background to be the background, this to be in the foreground. And then I'll change this text color to something like white. Okay. And I'll also change the color of my stroke to white. Okay. So this is it for my cover, keeping this pretty simple and straightforward. And then we can kind of add more as we get into more complex lessons. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is fill in the rest of my text. So I'm going to start by pressing Command semicolons, bring back my columns, zooming in by doing Command plus, right? So now I'm going to put my first text box right here, and then call this, it can be anything like appetizers. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to do another text box. What I do is just hold down Option. This creates a copy. Drag over to the next column. Here I might want to add something like, I don't know, maybe salads. Okay, and it's not going to matter what the text or font is for now, because you're going to change that. I'm just laying this out so that we can see our information first on the page. And then main course, and then here we can do the dessert section. So we'll do desserts. Okay. So now my categories are all in place. Now I can start manipulating the text. So what I'm going to do is work with a format where you might want to do a line to the center, make this a little bit bigger, okay? And since this is a fancy or simple but fanciful feast, you might want to use a different type. So I might want to use something more hand-drawn for my titles, or just give it something that makes it stand out a little bit more. So I would like to use some kind of font treatment that gives it that special something for my feast. So this might be a little too hard to read, so I'm going to see if this works or not. It might not work, so this is when we need to experiment with different fonts. So let's say it might be something more calligraphic. But this is kind of the idea. We're just simply designing and making sure things work in a specific way and that we keep the information simple and easy to use. Let's see. We're going to go with something like this for now. Now, when I select the text over here, the eyedropper tool should give me the same kind of effect. So I'm pretty much selecting the type over here that I would like to have the same effect, and clicking and making sure I get the same effect on all 4 of my quadrants. So now what's left is to populate the rest of my little categories, okay? I'll see you in the next video, and I will show you how you can start populating your text just by using existing menus. You don't need to type this all out. So I'll show you how that's done.